Hi there, I'm Jackie from Bloom Property Management, and I'm going to talk about an increasing number of tenants that are not traditionally the kinds of tenants that landlords take, but are an increasing proportion of our prospective tenants. So traditionally, landlords tend to cater for young people who have left home, they're making their way in the world, but they're not ready yet to buy their own home. And that is our bread and butter and traditionally what landlords deal with. But this is not all of the people we deal with these days. Our rent rolls, our population of tenants is changing, and generally they're getting older. So there's lots of reasons for this. So we're increasingly finding that tenants are over 65 years of age. In fact, 25% of tenants are over 65 years of age currently. And that age group has different needs than they may have in the past, and that is things like they may have health or mobility issues that need to be managed, and we need to consider how we're going to adapt our properties to suit those needs. So do we need to have better access to them? Do the rooms need to have wider doorways? Do we need to think about our circulation space? Do we need to think about the way we construct bathrooms and kitchens in particular to be more accessible for people with reduced mobility, to make it less likely that they're going to slip and fall or hurt themselves on something, or even that they're able to do simple things like wash themselves if they're unable to get in and over. If there's a shower over a bath, older people generally are not going to be as comfortable or safe stepping up over the edge of a bath to get into a shower. So they need an easier transition there to do that. And having like showers on hoses, for instance, helps them wash themselves, particularly if they've got an injury that they need to keep out of the water. If they've got a cast on or something like that, that's really important to have ways of washing without needing to compromise their healthcare. A lot of these people will be on fixed incomes, so that they won't have the ability to earn other money other than what they've already saved for themselves or have invested or have received from a pension. And so they're not going to want large utility bills. So we need to think about the ways that we make our homes more sustainable and for them to live in with more stable energy costs. So one way we can do that is by increasing the insulation in properties so they're easier to heat and easier to cool and keep that energy use quite constant year round, but also increase their comfort levels, because older people are more vulnerable to respiratory illness and other things like that, distress caused by extremes of heat and cold. And with climate change, we should expect more extremes of heat and cold going forward, and that can have an impact on our elderly population with more mortality and hospitalizations due to those things. And another aspect to consider is that people in this age bracket may actually resent going into a rental property. So they may have been homeowners before and have had their own home, and for whatever reason have decided to sell it. Maybe they're downsizing, maybe they can't find anywhere that they can buy that's close enough to family or other reasons that they're going for the rental they're going for, and so they might not actually be thrilled about being a tenant. And so we need to ask ourselves, how can we make it easier for them to transition into rental housing? If we come at it as an officious landlord going, well, this is how the rules are and this is how it's going to be, and no, you can't have a garden, and no, you can't have a pet, and no, you can't change this, that, and the other thing, that's going to make it harder for them. So how can we meet our own needs as investors, but also meet the needs of our tenants? So there's questions we can ask ourselves about this. In my experience, people who have been homeowners in the past make excellent tenants because they take care of a lot of little things. They don't bother you with them because they just deal with it, and they think nothing of doing it. They know that owning a home takes a lot of maintenance, and so they, if a screw comes out, they're putting it back in. They're taking care of those things. Often the hardest thing with them is to teach them that actually do call us and do let us know. You don't have to fix things yourself. We will take care of those things and make it easy for them. So that's often the lesson we have to enforce. But generally they're not going to be an issue if they've got pets, and they're not going to have the dog eating the stairs or a door or clawing its way through the jib or messing inside. These are not usually issues with this group. And certainly a lot of them are really into gardening, and they'll actually make your property more beautiful and more increase the utility of it. So, it's just about going where is appropriate and where isn't appropriate for those things to happen. So there's all sorts of ways we can do this. And of course, we need to consider that the way we treat our elderly is how karma is going to come back and treat us. And by karma, I mean our kids. So we want to set good examples for our children and young people coming up as to how we want to be treated going forward. So keep that in mind. If you want more information about the changing face of tenancies and our changing world, feel free to follow me. I'm Jackie at Bloom Property Management, or get into contact if you've got a specific request. Thank you.